Hi folks, and welcome back to another fly tying tutorial. This week is a guaranteed still water killer. So without further ado, let's get into it. The hook in the vise then is a Hanak H50 M barbed hook. It's medium wire and it's finished in bronze at size 8. Now the thread I'm going to be using today for this is a uni thread. It's the Fire Orange in 6/0. Now I've already pre-waxed the thread. Before I start casting onto the hook, I'd just like to say that this Hanak hook is the nearest thing I've come to a Kamazan B160 in old money, and the size 8 fits comfortably within the competition gauge. So let's get a bed of thread down. I'm going to catch in just behind the eye, and I'm going to use my rat's tail just to guide my thread up the shank of the hook. And I want to come to just before the barb. One more turn, that'll do it. Then I can come in and take away my waste. Now for the tail of this fly, I'm using some Comp Candy Marabou. This is the Sun-Kissed, which is basically a sunburst orange. I've already got a feather out the packet here. Lovely marabou this, it's dyed lovely. None of the, you know you've got good marabou when you can use the entire feather and it's all usable from the bottom up to the top. So I'm going to take about a thumbnail's worth. I don't need a lot of marabou for this. And I'm just going to cut this waste bit off over my waste basket. I'm going to bring my thread up in open turns to approximately 3mm from the eye of the hook. And I'm going to bring my marabou in and catch it in with a couple of pinching loops, and then I can pull back on the marabou, making sure it stays on top of the shank of the hook, and bring my thread all the way back. Now I'm taking some care to try and cover up as much of the marabou as I can. It's not entirely great, but it's going to do the job for now. Next I'm going to come in with my thumb and forefinger off my right hand and pinch away a bit of that. So this is a comp legal fly, and you've got to make sure that the overall length of the fly fits within the competition gauge. And I know from experience that that's probably just about right. Next thing I want to do is add in my overbody, and it's going to be the 0.8mm tinsel. It's called Mirror Tinsel from Semperfli. I've already got a little piece off here that I've been working with, and let me get the right end of it, and I want to catch that in just on my side. Now with this, I'm now going to take extra care to make sure when I come up with my thread that I'm getting touching turns, and I'm going to cover all that body, because what will happen is the thread will shine through the mirror tinsel to give you a really nice effect on the body, as you'll see shortly. Now there was a couple of ways I could have done this. I could have added in a very thin rib to protect the tinsel, or I could varnish over the top of it, or use UV resin. But what I'm going to do on this occasion is I've got some super glue here, and I'm just going to, you don't need a lot, touch it onto the thread. Now I don't need to get coverage, I just need a bit, and as I bring my tinsel over, that'll push the super glue around. Now what I'm going to do is just use the rotary function on the vise. Avoid the hook point if you can. That will ruin your day. If the hook point catches this tinsel, it just rips away and it's no good to you then. You'll be crying yourself to sleep on your giant pillow. Okay, I'm just taking my time. I want good coverage on the body. As you can see, the extra wraps I put in at the front are starting to undo as I bring the mirror flash up. And I'm bringing my mirror flash all the way to meet my thread. Then I can come up, keeping tension on it until I've got it trapped in. Once I'm happy it's trapped in, couple of turns in front just to make sure your thread doesn't back up and the mirror flash springs away from you. So I'll just take that off with my scissors. Next I'm going to add in my overwing, and again my marabou is from Comp Candy and this is called Pink Lemonade. I'm going to take roughly from my thumb knuckle to my thumbnail for this. And again, just off camera, I'm going to snip away the waste piece. Now before I tie it in, I want to just get some wax on my thread. And what this does is it just helps to grip the marabou. Nothing worse than when you get a fly with a marabou wing and you give it a pull or you're tying it on and the wing detaches from the fly. Very frustrating. So a little bit of wax gives you that extra bit of grip, and I want to just tidy that up a little at the front, and that's looking not bad. Now in line with my orange tail, I'm going to come in again with my thumb and forefinger in my right hand and just pinch away my excess marabou. Now before I go on, I'm going to lick my thumb and forefinger and just slick all that marabou back out the way. It just keeps it all tidy and makes it easier to tie in the eyes. Now the eyes, I'm going to be using a little tic tac here that I've pre-made. If you're not sure how I've done this, I'll stick a little link up in the information bar now for you to check out how I make my booby eyes. So what I'm looking for is the little hole that I used when I melted the edges. I'm going to bring that round, a couple of turns to hold them booby eyes in place, and then I can simply wind up the eyes. Now I'm trying to just keep my fingers out of the way, but it is difficult. I'm going to splay my eyes open, and I want between 3 and 5 turns each way with this. So I've gone one way, I'm going to grab the other booby eye with my finger and I'm going to come the other way. Then to finish, I'm going to get 3 or 4 turns in front, and then I can come in with my whip finish tool and finish the fly off. I'm just holding the booby eyes back while I whip finish, and then I can remove my thread. Now you can use varnish, but again I'm going to opt for the super glue option. And how I like to finish this fly is part the booby eyes so you can see your thread and get plenty of super glue in them top wraps. Then invert the vise, and where I've laid the bed of orange, I'm going to just get a layer of super glue in here as well. Just gives the fly a little bit of longevity. Now anyone that fishes a lot, I'm sure you'll have heard of the Candyfloss Booby, and this is one of the variations that came out of Scotland once the fly became quite popular. It works really well up on the lake, and it works just as well on the Midlands reservoirs. I hope that's been of some use to you and given you some ideas. Thanks very much for watching, and I'll see you all next time.